What's going on, everybody? It's TheZachMichael here. Today, I'm going to be breaking down how I made my track Midnight by SleepingShark. This is out now on all platforms if you want to go ahead and stream it. Let's go ahead and get right into it. The first thing I did, lay down this effect, kind of establish some ambience. I just filtered it out. Without it, it sounds like that. With it, it sounds like this. A lot more in the background. Remove some of those highs and get rid of some of those lows. First thing I did was figure out what I wanted to do melodically after that. So I went to Omnisphere and pulled up this key. It's in one of my kits, available on my site. And I EQ'd it, removing some of the highs. And I played in this chord progression. So the first thing I did was actually play in the initial chords, just straight. So without any of those passing notes such as this and this, etc. Then I strummed those. And then from there, I kind of built the chords out a bit more. Something I talk about a lot when I create melodies is the concept of using the notes within the chord to actually create your top line and create your melody. And that's what I did here by cutting these notes all into the chord. Like if you listen to the red notes, those are where the melody is. And the chords are the rest of the notes. And then the second half I changed it up a bit. Kind of took the notes that were here, this E and this F sharp, I pitched them up an octave. And then kind of just made it ascend a little higher in the second 4 bars. And also duplicated the kind of ending riff. So it just gets a little more bigger, a little more full sounding. Just like that, that key was really all I needed, but I wanted to build it out a little more. So I went in Omnisphere and I found another preset just to kind of layer throughout, because I like to kind of keep my melody simple on a lot of my lo-fi stuff, especially SleepingShark stuff, because usually keep that a lot more ambient. But with this one here, I found this Key Eternal Pool piano. And what I did was just play some bass notes out on it. Just kind of didn't really do anything to it, like effect-wise, just straight like that. And then I went into Omnisphere and found one more sound right here. I hear this Prophet Warm 5th. And I have this playing like a high octave melody. Just turn that down. Nothing crazy, but fills out the high frequencies. And you kind of put those together. Now you have this whole melody here. Sounds pretty good. Alright, onto the drums. All the drums are from my kits. Just have a snare that hits. Kick pattern. Just a hard-hitting kick with a pretty simple pattern. Hi-hats. Nice low-pitch hi-hat. Didn't really do any processing to it besides putting on this Echo Boy, which is then turned down a good %. But you can kind of hear it. Just adds these little rattles in the background. And I just randomized the velocities on this to give it a human feel. Just like that. So on to the arrangement. So the first thing I did was actually render out the Omnisphere here with the low key, essentially the little bass that's coming from the piano. And what I did was I reversed it so it kind of like ascends. And I threw some reverb on that with this sort of sound. I'm using that almost as a transition. I'm using that almost as a riser in this case. So that's something I like doing sometimes, is actually like creating like textures from within the melody sounds that I use, like within those presets. And this is an example of me doing that. So 4-bar intro, key, effect, and the last 2 bars have the riser. Then into the first part of what is the hook. It has, you know, the hats, the kick, the snare, the effects, and the low key and the main melody. First part of the verse. Now I bring in that high pad, bring out the kick. Bring out all the drums. Last 2 bars, just the pad, the main key, and that sort of transition sound. I don't have this atmosphere playing the full because that what would be here is actually here, just reverse. So that's why that's cut out. Here we go. Then back into the second section of the verse. Now has the hi-hat and just the snare going, that main melody, the keys. And then we just duplicate this over here. And then we just have the outro as the last 4 bars with a volume fade. And that's how I produced Midnight by SleepingShark. It's out now on all platforms if you want to go ahead and give it a stream, add it to your playlist, etc. But yeah, thanks so much for watching. I'll see you guys in another breakdown. Head on over to ElizabethRecords.net if you'd like to support me. You can purchase VST expansion banks, drum kits, loop kits, and MIDI kits that'll level up your production there.